In this video, we're going to look at how to find the equation of a line. In this particular example, we're asked for the equation of a line that's perpendicular to the line 3x minus 2y equals 7, and that also goes through the point 1, 5. We're also specifically told to use the form y equals mx plus b for our answer. So go ahead and try this question on your own first. In order to do this, you know you're going to have to figure out what m and b are. M is the slope of the line, and remember, we want our line to be perpendicular to the line that's given. Now, the line that's given, 3x minus 2y equals 7, that's not in y equals mx plus b form, so you might want to rearrange it into y equals mx plus b form in order to make it easier for you to figure out what the slope is. Once you've done that, remember, you want your slope to be perpendicular to the slope of that line that you just found. Two slopes are perpendicular if they're negative reciprocals of one another. In other words, if you were to multiply them together, you should get -1. So that accounts for finding m in our equation. What about b? Well, once you've found m, you can substitute in your point 1, 5 and solve for b. So go ahead and do that, and we'll continue once you're done. So let's take this up together. So first of all, we're going to need to figure out what m is. So let's work with 3x minus 2y equals 7. So if we rearrange 3x minus 2y equals 7, what we end up with is, and let's move the 3x to the other side by subtracting 3x from both sides. So minus 2y equals negative 3x plus 7. And now let's divide both sides by -2 to isolate for the y. So -3 divided by -2 is just 3 over 2x, and we get -7/2. What we're interested in is the slope of this line, which is 3/2. Our slope is the negative reciprocal of this number, so we want the perpendicular slope. So what this means is m works out, and I'm just going to write a little 3 dots in front, which means therefore. So therefore, m works out to be -2/3. Because the slope of the other line is 3/2, if we flip that, we get 2/3, so that's the reciprocal, and we put a negative in front. We can check our work because if you multiply -2/3 times 3/2, you get -1, so that means the slopes are perpendicular. So what this means now is we can go ahead and find b, and the way we do it is we already have y equals, we already found m is -2/3, so all we need to do is figure out b. We can sub in what we know, which is 1, 5. So that means 5, if we substitute that in for y, is equal to -2/3 times 1 plus b. And so b works out to be 5 plus 2/3. And we get that by adding 2/3 to both sides. And if we find a common denominator of 3, 5 times 3 gives us 15 plus 2 gives us 17/3. So our final answer, therefore, is that y is equal to -2/3 x plus 17/3. Again, just to recap how we did this question, because we wanted the line that's perpendicular to the given one, we first had to determine the slope of the given line. To do that, we rearranged it into y equals mx plus b form, and it became clear that the slope of it was 3/2. Perpendicular slopes are negative reciprocals. In other words, you can flip the fraction and multiply by -1, and you can check your work because, of course, the two slopes, when multiplied together, should give you -1. That means they're perpendicular. So our slope here is -2/3. Once we know that, we can substitute that into y equals mx plus b form. We know that our line has to go through the point 1, 5, so that means an x value of 1 and a y value of 5. So we can replace x with 1 in our equation, and y can be replaced with 5. And once we do that, the only unknown is b. So we can isolate for it and solve, and here we ended up with b equals 17/3, so we know we're done. The final answer is a line with slope -2/3 and y-intercept 17/3, so our equation is y equals -2/3x plus 17/3.